Up the Wires. The Wires get it done on an absolute upset, beating the Roosters. Big victory. The Broncos get it done, but not convincing. Same with the Sharks against the Rabbitohs. West Tigers get out of jail against the Dolphins. Gold Coast played a pitiful Newcastle Knights, back to their old tricks. Um, Parramatta and Canterbury, probably nearly the best game of the round in a low scoring affair, and Manly should have won by 70 to the Raiders. But yes, a few injury concerns coming out of this week's show. Let's get to it here at the Barry Charles Footy Show. Let's do the review of round 3 of the footy. Yes, let's get to it, folks. Yes, injuries galore out of the games. Jerome Hughes potentially out for a month with a broken hand. Nick Meaney, similar, 4 to 6 weeks with a broken jaw. Roger Tuafasa-Sheck could be out for as long as a month. He could be back quicker than that, but injury concerns here with his hamstring, similar to Turbo, who will be monitored again during the week. But for Rabbitohs fans out there, the reinforcements are coming with Mitchell, Schuster, Aiken, and Johnson expected back within the month. So positive signs for you, Rabbitohs fans, some within a couple of weeks, so that's positive news for you. Other injuries, Hoskins out for 4 to 6 weeks with similar injuries to Jerome Hughes. So injuries are coming left, right, and centre, and obviously Leo Thompson's still going through his medial ligament injury, which they were surely missing him the Knights on Friday night. But yes, well, what happened, folks? What happened in the rugby league circles here? What were the games like? What's happening? Well, the first game, obviously, knockout. Yes, Nathan Cleary knocked out for the next round after an innocuous play, which saw him knocked out. It was interesting to see. So he misses the first round, but accordingly in the same game, Jerome Hughes is out for 4 to 6 weeks. So you would say that at the end of the day, they're worse for wear. The Melbourne Storm going forward, and obviously with Nick Meaney injured as well, there's question marks on how they're going to replace all that. But obviously Jada Pizzett just comes straight in, so that's pretty simple, and probably no worries there for the Storm. And also got Fa'alogo as well, so they really are still got the depth of the Storm to be big chances this season. But yes, in terms of the game between Storm and the Panthers, I think it was more pro for the Panthers. The Storm looked like they were going to explode and kill them, and then they just dropped dead. They really did. They just dropped in a hole and let the Panthers back into it. So the Storm, yes, some question marks. The same they did with Parramatta, flying start, and then went to the panel. We will see. But Storm are definitely still, I think, a big chance winning this competition. The Warriors, yes. CNK, well, good on you. Congratulations. You took the criticism and absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Man of the match performance, no doubt about it. Charles Nickel Clocks that delivers when he needs to, but he needs to do that each and every week. If he does that sort of performance each and every week, then the Warriors are going to be top 4, no doubt about it. But more realistically, from what I've seen with doing later predictors, the Warriors are top 8 chance, but they're going to come down to a couple of crucial games depending on how they go. Just looking at the early predictions early on. But they have surprised. But the biggest test obviously is playing away from home, and we will find out against the Tigers if the Warriors are the real deal in 2024. But you have to, if you're going from what I saw improvements, Mitchell Barney went to another level, Fisher Harris just does what he does. But Aaron Clark again continues to impress, even though he led in the try. He is playing some good football, Aaron Clark, and very good. And just interesting to see what they do with Dylan Walker, because they're not getting much out of Walker and his in terms of his outputs. It's just interesting to see how they move forward with him. They need a bit more out of him. But yeah, Jackson Ford's going well off the bench. Obviously, the handling areas is the only question. And what a chip kick from Shannara Harris defeated. But on the other side of the time, the Roosters, I don't think can be too disappointed. Victor Radley, Tedesco, Daniel Tupou, they all had big games, and so did Nafua White in his hometown, had a good game, so did Sia Wong and even Angus Crichton. So there wasn't too much to be disappointed about Roosters fans with their performance. Yeah, I know people say yes to the Warriors, but they just didn't have their killer punch at the end. That was the difference. The Warriors, and to be fair, the Warriors probably should have won by more with in terms of how the Roosters keep dropping the ball, but that's the way it is. The Warriors still managed to win the game, which is more improvement for the Warriors. Sharks versus the South. So what do I have to say about this? It hasn't really answered any questions. Before Sharks and South, Brisbane Cowboys. There's been no questions answered here as well. I thought Tomalola was good. I don't. This is BS. People are saying Tomalola's past it. It's absolute BS. Why he's not playing is because of Todd Payton, and I would not be stunned if Todd Payton is the first coach sacked this year. I didn't have him as the number one, but I definitely thought he was a chance of being one of the first ones sacked. And if the games continue to go like this, he will be sacked by the end of the year if he continues to go like this. To say he's safe, I don't think so. He's going to have to turn it around. There's been rumblings for a while and they haven't had the best relationship, but I think to be more fair dinkum here, they've lost experience. Chad Townsend and Valentine Holmes. They're two key players, and you're going to add Reece Robson to that next year. They're key players to lose out of the side. Ruben Cotter is a young leader, maybe struggling with that. They have brought in John Bateman, but this John Bateman clearly passed his best. But Jackson Purdue had a good game, so there's some possibility. Reece Walsh is a bit of a mixed bag. Outstanding in parts, but handling errors was very, very costly. And he'll need to do something big if he wants to get back in front of. But in saying that, Ponga did the same thing with his attack as well. So to say that Ponga went backwards last week, so we will see. The Sharks, they got it done, but yeah, question marks over how they do it. Fanua Blake's doing what I expected. He is absolutely carving up. He's doing what I expected, but Will Kennedy actually went up a level, so that's promising for you. But Hines, he was better, no doubt about it. This was his best game of the season. But just whether or not they are the right spine to get them home in the big games, and that's going to be the question mark when we come to finals football for the Sharks. If they get to finals, I expect they will. But their top four, I thought they were top four material, but when I looked at the draw, they might be struggling to make the top four this season. But they should make the 8. Whether they can take the next level to win the competition, I seriously doubt they've got the skills in the halves, and that's my question mark for them going forward. The Rabbitohs, pretty much as expected. I mean, they tried their best, but they're just missing too many key players. But they're going to get a few back in the next few weeks, so the Rabbitohs are still charged for the top 8. Now, Tigers. Yes, Tigers fans out there. Ecstatic. You got a victory when you probably shouldn't have won. The Tigers were struggling, but Appy and the likes got them out of trouble. Paule's been huge, and so was Terrell May defensively, and Taruva, the try-scoring machine that he is. But Dolphin fans don't give up. Max Plaff was very good, and so was Herbie Funworth, but just their forward pack punch, they're just a bit too old for me. And I'm not sure if the Marshall King Katoa is just struggling now without having that experienced player in the squad. I mean, Nick Carino is experienced, but he's not a top caliber experience, if you understand. If it was like a Ben Hunt or someone on the team, then this team would be going better. But I think they're struggling because of that. And the hammer's just not quite being the hammer of old, and probably fullback is not his position, potentially. He's a good player, but again, he's probably in that Latrell Mitchell mode that he can't have those big, it doesn't have the motor of the likes of the Don Edwards and the likes, and maybe he needs to go back to centres on the wing. We'll see how that goes going forward. But yeah, Dolphins are also in danger of the wooden spoon. And again, Christian Wolf. I don't think they'll say Christian Wolf in 1 year. But yeah, I think he'll be under pressure going into next season if it continues to be this bad. We will see if they can turn it around. Gold Coast, Newcastle. I don't get excited, Titans fans. Newcastle were bad. They were horrendous. Absolutely. Travis got it. I reckon they were worse than the Eels against the Storm. That's how bad I thought the Newcastle were. And Titans didn't capitalise enough to win. They won well, but they could have won by more. Newcastle were very poor, including Kalen Ponga dropping the ball. But yeah, Tino had a good game. There was a couple of shining lights for Gold Coast. Campbell was pretty good as well. There's some work to be done in terms of the future of this team. And obviously Keno Kenny flying at the fullback role. But yeah, some work to be done. But Bradman Best is playing outstanding footy, and he's got to be pushing for an origin spot here. Sakalomics will be under pressure, but he's playing very good football at the moment. I really like what Brandon Best is doing, and he's doing it week after week after week. So you can't complain about Brandon Best in terms of, especially his attack and running means he could be potential going forward for this team. What else do I see in the future of a rugby league? Well, yeah, Newcastle disappointing, and Adam O'Brien, as I said, he'll be the first coach sacked this season. Well, if they go back to that sort of form, then maybe he will be. We'll see. I think it was just a blip. We will see. Parramatta versus Canterbury. It was a pretty good game. A low scorer, but a true grit and everything in this game. But Parramatta, Brown missing, absolutely missing in action. What is happening there? I think he will be gone mid season. There's no doubt about it. He's not performing. He doesn't. I don't know why he's not performing. You'll have to ask Jason Riles and Dylan Brown himself, because he has not even looked like he wants to be there in the first 3 weeks of the football. So it's disappointing. Canterbury weren't convincing at all, but they managed to get home without Bruton and Kikau, so that's promising for the future. And can they sneak into the top 4? I think they're a good chance, the Bulldogs, this year. They look like one of the top elite teams this season. I think they might have gone there next level and knocked the Sharks out of the top 4. I think that's maybe what's happening. We will find out though. Obviously, injuries are going to be key for any of these teams to do anything. Manly, Rocks and Diamonds continues. Absolutely blitz the Raiders. But you can argue they should have won by 60, even more. They had a lot of the possession. Canberra Raiders, there's a few dubious penalties and likes. But, I mean, Manly still were the better team anyway, in my opinion. But it's just going to be interesting to see how they go. Paseka out for a long period of time. That's not good. So how do I rank? Where do I rank each team? Well, let's try and go through it. On what I've seen so far. Panthers, yes, they could be down on their best, but they can still win the comp. The Storm can win the comp, but it's not as convincing as what people were thinking. They were shoo-in to be in the grand final. That is not confirmed as yet. Obviously a long way to go. Brisbane Broncos, they're Rocks and Diamonds for me. I can't see them making the top 4 the way they're going at the moment. I think their away form is going to be crucial to see if they can turn that around. The Cowboys are missing the 8. Even though teams can turn it around, and there will be a team that will turn it around, I don't see it being the Cowboys. The Warriors, definitely a chance at the top 8. To say they're going to make the top 4, well, they're going to have to really start putting a few games together. We'll see with it. The Roosters are definitely a top 8 chance. Top 4, not in my opinion. Dolphins, no show. They'll be in the bottom 4. West Tigers, they're an interesting team here. I don't think they'll get to top 8, but 10 to 14 for me for them. Looking just early on here, Sharks, and the Sharks are a top 8 team, whether they're top 4, question marks. Rabbitohs, they'll be fighting for a top 8 spot. I can't see them getting any higher than that. We'll see if they make it. Gold Coast, I don't see making it. Newcastle, they're an enigma team for me, because they could go as high as 4th, or they could finish 13th. We'll see a bit more about Newcastle in another 5 weeks' time to see how consistent they are. Parramatta, I think it's going to be a long season for Parramatta. Do I think they're going to get the wooden spoon? Potentially, maybe not. They're going to have to turn it around, though, Parramatta. Canterbury are definitely a chance in the top 4, but they've definitely been in the top 6. Manly, they're a bit like Newcastle, can come as high as 4th. I think they might. I thought early on they were a chance at top 4, but the way they're playing, I think they're more of a might make the top 8 or might just miss out depending on how things go. The Raiders, they are the enigma, because I did think they weren't going to miss the 8 altogether. They're probably going to be the surprise team of the year. Still, they could miss the 8 too, but they're definitely a top 8 chance, the Raiders. But we will see how that all goes in the future. But anyway, that's a Barry Charles Footy Show for this episode. I'll be back with another video later in the week as we preview the great game of round 4. Have an awesome day out there.